Welcome to #FinanceMaster. Kick back, relax, and enjoy this week's show.
Hello, welcome everyone to this week's #FinanceMaster show. Very excited about the show today because it's going to get very spacey. We'll talk about technology in 2035 and how that's going to be used in the finance function. It's a prediction, of course, and if there is something that's difficult to predict about, it's how technology is going to develop. Go 4 or 5 years back and mention that generative AI is going to revolutionize the world, people will be like, yeah, probably not going to happen. But it did happen, and here we are. So imagine what 10 years out in the future can do. The rules of the show are simple. We are recording it to be released as a podcast, and we are live on LinkedIn and YouTube, streaming all the way to you, and of course, recording the video as well to be released on the #FinanceMaster channel on YouTube in a few weeks. You can be a part of the show too. Let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from, or if you have questions, or you want to share reactions to today's show. We will be sure to call out everyone and highlight questions here on screen as well. So that is your way to be a part of today's show. So do let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from, and I'll ask some questions along the way that you'll hopefully have some perspectives or answers on. But let's get into the show. So, earlier today, we released the blog post, What Tech Stack Will the Finance Function of the Future Be Built On? And of course, no one can predict what technology will be available in 2035. The best way to make such a prediction is to start with what's available today and extrapolate those capabilities into the future. Next, we can look at what emerging technologies are available today but not used at scale. Finally, we can consider technologies currently being built or only imagined and guess how they could be used in the future. A few years ago, I recorded a video talking about automation in finance. In the blog post from today, you can go and watch that video. We're showcasing how it's possible to, in finance operations, go to a rate of automation of 95%. Of course, got to broaden that out to more than just finance operations, but it's pretty interesting to watch. So do go and check that out. Maybe we can leave a link to it in the show notes as well. We have already made significant progress in automating transactional activities. And as we have described in this blog in previous weeks, the ambition is to achieve 100% automation. This is mostly possible with the tools available today, and in 2035, these will only improve. Automation is further behind in specialized and business finance, but we've already seen forecasting automated, for instance. Using generative AI software, companies are already building digital humans who can do scenario and business analysis and prepare presentation summaries. In short, automation is coming to almost every process we can imagine. So, of course, it's coming to the finance function too. Here's the first question for you. What technologies are you using today in your finance function? Let us know in the comments. It should be fairly simple and uncontroversial. So do let us know. And I can see we already have a few people tuning in here. We have Jan from South Africa, Vijay who says, no, please. Not sure what that relates to, but let us know, Vijay. And then Innocent tuning in from Zimbabwe. Keep letting us know where you are tuning in from. We're definitely keen to hear as well. So, what technology are you using today in your finance function? Let us know in the comments. While you think about that, we will look at more emerging technologies. You may now boldly claim that everything that can be automated has been automated or is about to. And while that has some truth to it, we should also expect that current automation technologies like RPA will be replaced by more advanced technologies. Furthermore, proclaiming that everything has been automated also assumes that we are satisfied with the outputs from the finance function today. That's not the case at all. So, new technologies should significantly increase the value add from the finance function. With that in mind, let's consider the current technology landscape, which focuses on more emerging technologies. First one is artificial intelligence and machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, but shouldn't be news to you anymore. But advanced AI or ML platforms, you can use those to be the core of finance operations. Predictive analytics, automated decision making, natural language processing enable real time financial analysis, fraud detection, and risk management. Already a wide playing field there, and we've just touched upon the first bit. AI powered RPA. So AI enhanced RPA tools will handle repetitive tasks like data entry, reconciliation, report generation with minimal human intervention. We've already talked about this. The next one, I don't know if I'm high on it yet or what to really think about it, but blockchain and distributed ledger technology or DLT. I get the concept, I get the potential, but I'm still doubtful whether it's going to work or not. But let's see. So, one thing is smart contracts. These self executing contracts, with the terms directly written into the code, will fundamentally automate transactions, compliance, and audit processes. It makes sense. Let's see if it can actually work at scale. And then we have decentralized or DeFi platforms. So finance functions may utilize these DeFi for transparent and secure cross-border transactions, asset management, and fundraising. So a bit maybe outside the classical finance function scope, but maybe more for treasury, for instance. Then there's cloud computing, hybrid and multi-cloud environments. So finance function will operate on hybrid and multi-cloud platforms, allowing scalability, flexibility, and cost efficiency. Then there's FaaS, or Finance as a Service. So on-demand cloud-based financial services will be standard, enabling finance teams to plug into various financial tools and services as needed. So we don't necessarily need the capabilities in-house, but we can basically tap into already existing platforms. Probably very powerful for small and mid-sized companies, while the larger companies would probably build these capabilities themselves. Data analytics and big data. Big data is probably a bit like digital transformation 10 years ago. Today it's more reality, something we work with, rather than a concept that we're describing. So real-time data analytics platforms. Advanced analytics tools will enable continuous monitoring of financial performance and predictive insights using vast amounts of structured and unstructured data. And then we talk about data lakes and warehousing. We actually piloted, let's say, the concept of the data universe in previous shows. You may recall that as well. Kind of an evolution of the data lake, which is an evolution of the data warehouse, which is an evolution of your Excel database or whatever you have used before. So finance functions, of course, will rely on sophisticated data lakes and warehouses to aggregate data from multiple sources for comprehensive analysis. It's probably already happening today. And there's the topic of cybersecurity and privacy technologies. Here we could imagine quantum-resistant encryption. So as quantum computing becomes a reality, quantum-resistant encryption technologies will be needed to protect financial data from potential breaches. It's an arms race. Criminals on one hand, companies, individuals, governments, and whatever on the other hand, all trying to protect themselves, and it's not easy. It's a tough job. And then the other one is zero trust architecture. Security models will shift towards a zero trust framework where every access request is verified regardless of the source. May become a bit of a pain in the butt because Now, already today with two-factor verification and everything else, it's a lot of verifications before we can actually access the system and information that we're looking for. But if the alternative is an open structure where cyber threats can just walk straight in, I probably prefer a few more verifications, to be honest. Next, ERP and integration platforms. Intelligent ERP systems is the future of ERP systems. It will be highly integrated with AI, perhaps blockchain, not sure yet, and cloud services, allowing seamless financial operations, from budgeting and forecasting to compliance and reporting. Already today, we see API-driven integration. APIs will connect various financial systems, tools, and external data sources, allowing real-time data flow and interoperability between disparate systems. Now, with APIs, there's a bit of caveat to it. So with every API you have, you also need to maintain it. And if something changes in either system, you'll have to update it. So actually, every single API that you have will be expensive in the end to operate. So the more integrated financial systems landscape you can have, the better. While of course you need to integrate with systems outside of finance if it's not all part of the future ERP systems. Next one is human AI collaboration tools. We're already seeing the beginning of this today as well. So we could imagine augmented decision-making platforms where tools that combine human intuition with AI insights will be critical for strategic decision-making in companies, not just in finance. And then, we can even talk about virtual and augmented reality for finance. Maybe we'll see VR AI tools be used for immersive financial modeling, training, and scenario analysis. Again, I said we're going to be spacey here, and we haven't even gotten to the real spacey part yet. But, we can imagine it. It's possible today, maybe not so much used in finance. I did a short stint at a solar cell company or solar park company. And in their office, they actually had, VR simulators where you could take a tour in a solar park without actually going to the solar park. So I'm sure we can imagine lots of uses for finance as well. Then there's about regulatory technology and compliance automation. Now, it's an important task for finance to handle these tasks, but maybe a lot of it can be automated. So we'll maybe see automated compliance systems where leveraging AI and blockchain, perhaps these systems will ensure continuous compliance with evolving regulations, automating audits, and reporting. And perhaps we can imagine AI-driven tax engines. So advanced tax engines to optimize tax planning and compliance globally, accounting for multiple jurisdictions and regulations. Now, it's almost impossible for humans today to comprehend the tax codes around the world and the interoperability of those. And you see time and time again massive fines being levied on companies because they get this and, of course, other things wrong as well. But it is rules based, so maybe it could be automated. Then there's around ESG reporting tools. We've talked a lot about ESG on this channel here as well. So, of course, we'd like to see some integrated ESG reporting platforms because there's a growing focus on ESG factors. Finance function will rely on platforms, integrate financial and non-financial data for comprehensive ESG reporting analysis because finance is taking ownership of ESG reporting. If it hasn't happened in your company yet, it should. And finally, if we talk about tools today that we can extrapolate to the future, we'll also talk about user experience and collaboration tools. Intuitive AI-driven dashboards, for instance, that are customizable dashboards powered by AI. Will present complex financial data in an accessible manner for various stakeholders. So imagine that you have a salesperson who doesn't understand a lot about numbers, but you need insights from the sales team's performance or how is your client portfolio looking like. And the dashboard can intuitively transform itself to something that's easily understood by a salesperson. Would be nice, wouldn't it? Because today we spend a lot of time as finance professionals thinking about how to adapt our communication. The AI can help us in the future. And finally, next generation collaboration platforms. These will support real-time collaboration across global finance teams, integrating communication, documentation, and project management tools. This suite of emerging technologies should excite most CFOs and hopefully all of you too about the finance function they can build in 2035. And if history is any predictor of future outcomes, we should probably let the walkthrough rest here. That's because new technologies take at least 5 to 7 years before they're considered implementable in the finance function. But we'll dare to be bold and consider what could become the finance function in 2035 if technologies we can only dream about today becomes available by then. But before we do that, question for you. Have you started using any of the emerging technologies that we have outlined here? Let us know in the comments. Curious to hear. I can see a lot more people tuning in now, so I'm just going to extend my greetings here. We have Rishab from Abu Dhabi, Hoon from Saudi, Chris from Dubai, Abdul from Pakistan. It's always such a diverse crowd we have here. I love it. Anil from India, a LinkedIn user who don't know who it is, from Uganda. Salma from Morocco, Sophia from Canada, another LinkedIn user from Egypt, Kanyisu from South Africa, and Mohammed from Qatar. And a LinkedIn user here is probably responding to one of the questions saying they're using AI technology. Great. In a sense, saying blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Yeah, I mean, if you are into crypto, you are, of course, using blockchain, goes without saying. And a Polar in here from Ireland. Great. Salma saying they're using data analytics. Another user saying cloud computing. Someone says e-signature. Great to hear about all of these. And Salma says AI as well. Data analytics and big data. Yes, great to hear you're using technology out there. Of course, you're using technology, but also some of these emerging technologies here that we have imagined for a while could be useful in finance, but perhaps haven't really used it at scale yet. So do more of that, please. It is absolutely needed for the finance function of the future. If you have just tuned in, again, let us know where you're tuning in from. We're talking about the tech stack of the finance function in 2035, and the spaceship is about to take off. Well, maybe it depends on who looks at it, but we have some only imagined technologies today that could potentially be the emerging technologies of 2035, where leading finance functions are using these. First is quantum finance engines. So if we talk about quantum computing for finance, by 2035, quantum computing may have evolved to the point where it's fully integrated into financial operations. Quantum finance engines could perform complex calculations and optimizations at unprecedented speeds, enabling, we always talk about real time. I don't know if there's something faster than real time, but it definitely enables real time. Large scale simulations of financial markets, risk assessments, and portfolio optimizations that were previously impossible. These engines could model entire economies, allowing finance teams to predict market movements with unparalleled accuracy. And oh man, the insights that can come from this. This is looking at externally, but just think about using it on your own company data, matching that with external data. Wow, crazy. The next one is sentient financial AI, self-evolving AI systems. Not sure what to think about this one. Obviously, if you're watching futuristic movies and thinking about AI, if it's self-evolving, where's the limit? I don't know, but let's talk about it. Imagine AI systems that are not just programmed to learn from data, but can self-evolve, adapt, and even develop new financial strategies independently. These sentient AI systems could autonomously manage entire finance functions, from treasury management to strategic planning, constantly learning and improving without human intervention. They could anticipate changes in the market, regulatory environments, and even societal trends, making them indispensable partners in financial decision making. Now, we already talked about the story from the past where I hear about a AI scientist in 2018 who said if he had 6.5 billion US dollars, you could automate the entire finance function of a large oil and gas company. So it was possible already in 2018. So it's also possible in 2035. The difference, the price tag will be a lot lower. Again, yet to be seen if this is the way we're going, but at least it's something to think about. The third one is neuroeconomic interfaces, brain-computer interfaces for financial decision making. By 2035, we might see the development of neuroeconomic interfaces, which allow finance professionals to interact directly with financial models, data, and simulations using brain signals. These interfaces could enable instantaneous analysis and decision making, merging human intuition with the computational power of AI. Imagine analyzing a complex financial report or executing a trade just by thinking about it. The interface translating neural signals into precise actions. If you're executing trades, probably needs to be some safeguards, but if you are standing in a room full of decision makers, discussing scenarios, what a brainstorm you would make there, right? Okay, 3 down, 2 to go. Next one, synthetic economies and virtual finance worlds. Hyper-realistic virtual economies. Let's talk about that. Synthetic economies could be fully immersive virtual environments where finance professionals simulate, test, and refine economic policies, financial strategies, and business models. AI and advanced modeling technologies will power these virtual worlds, allowing users to create and interact with digital representations of entire economies, industries, or companies. The insights gained from these simulations could then be applied to real-world scenarios, effectively reducing risk and uncertainty in decision making. So here we're not talking about the metaverse, which is a live digital world. We're talking about a simulation world, but with unparalleled variables where we can simulate. It's almost like a business game, if you will, right? But just at a scale and way of working that we've never seen before. Okay, here comes the final one. It stays a bit within the blockchain universe, if you will. Decentralized autonomous finance organizations. Self-governing financial entities, or DAFOs or DAFOs, or whatever you want to call it, could radically shift how finance functions operate. These entirely autonomous blockchain-based entities manage financial operations without human oversight. Governed by smart contracts and AI, DAFOs would handle everything from payroll and procurement to investment and strategic planning. They could operate across borders, automatically adhering to local regulations and optimizing operations based on real-time data. These organizations would be transparent and incorruptible and could potentially operate 24/7 without the need for traditional management structures. So, few options here that seemingly, at least, completely eliminate the need for the finance function. We'll talk about next week, not necessarily what these options here mean, but what the continuous technological development means for the finance professional. So don't worry, we believe that there's still a place for you in the future as well. It's not likely that any of these technologies will be used in the finance function by 2035. However, at that time, they may be like the emerging technologies of today, which we need to plan to implement. So knowing far in advance that they may be coming will help us plan our technology stack better and avoid making substantial investments in short-lived technology. Are you still with me here on the spaceship, or have you already left somewhere in orbit, at least around Earth? I don't know. But at least it's interesting to imagine what the tech stack could look like if we bring in these, some would say, wild imaginations. Final question for you today. Do you have a technology roadmap for the coming years? And what does it look like? Because you'll need that to start planning today. So again, curious to hear. Just take in with the audience here. We also have Adriana from Brazil, Giuseppe, I don't know, maybe Italy, at least it sounds Italian. And Julius here says he's using blockchain cryptocurrencies. Yes, quite a few using those. Maybe more on the African continent, perhaps, where you need perhaps an alternative financial system to unstable structures. But what's your roadmap today? Would definitely like to know that. So don't hold back. While you think about that, let's just take today's show to the finish line. So how can you start planning today? Plan today for the tech stack you'll work on in 2035 is of course challenging. However, knowing what's available and what will become available in the coming decade, you can start to build your roadmap. Referring to the vision of thinking AI first, we have shared a simple framework for identifying and measuring your AI adoption. This should feed into your short-term roadmap covering the next 3 years. You'll need to project how far this takes your AI adoption and then consider which emerging technologies are needed to make it 100%. It's important that your plan is flexible and scalable, as you may want to hold off making certain investments until more prominent technologies become available. It's not an easy exercise, yet with proper foresight, you can create a finance function that is relatively cheaper and better than competitions. This show and the blog that we released today should give you an overview of what to expect. And you must take this into account with your leadership team to facilitate a discussion to create the short and long-term roadmap. And we have talked about lots of technologies and possibilities today. But if you think there are technologies we haven't covered that are going to play a significant role, let us know in the comments. I mean, we want to learn too. I'm sure you have a lot of insights that we can learn from also. So don't hold back. And also here, just hello to Sabik from Dubai and Gulam from Pakistan as well. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. You guys are making this show special. It's not like a live talk show yet, but I think we will get there. And today was a trip aboard the spaceship. Next week we'll come down to Earth again and look at us humans. What does all this mean for the finance professional of 2035? We'll definitely give you some views on that, and hopefully you will share your perspectives as well. With that, it's the end of today's show. You can always catch previous shows on your favorite podcast channels, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and you can also catch the recordings here on the #FinanceMaster YouTube channel. We are already above 1,200 subscribers there and slowly climbing towards 2,000. Maybe that will be the new goal for the year. But thanks a lot for being part of this journey here. And until next week, I'll see you out there on LinkedIn. Remember, you can always write me and catch me out there. So see you next week.
You've been listening to #FinanceMaster. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on the latest trends in finance and accounting.